is a Feldpost letter. Perfect for Feldpost Sunday. Nice. So I would just like to take a brief moment to thank my Patreons who support the channel and help make these videos possible for you all to enjoy. Thank you. Welcome back to another episode of Feldpost Sunday here on the World War II History and Reenacting YouTube channel. Well, it's Sunday and you know what time it is. It's time to see if there's any Feldpost. So, are you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Wir haben Feldpost. 2 letters. But wait. I believe there's something else as well. Let's see. We have more. We have more. Yes, another big box. 2 letters and a big box. Always the same. Well, let's get into it. Let's do the big one first. Let's do it. Let's just get in there. Let's do it. Let's do it. Just cut off the sides. All right. Pretty well packaged. See what we have. You have to just pull it out without breaking anything. There it is. Well, my guess is that we are onto some gold. I believe this must be the same gentleman who's packaged some of these before. Because this packaging is A+. Kinda tedious to open, but never trust the mailman. Nicely packaged. Yes. Now it's starting to look like something. Yes, we have white gold. White gold made in Norway for the Germans during the Second World War. What a beauty. Pristine condition, made by Postgren Porcelain here in Norway. In Telemark, we have the German eagle in blue and OT for Organisation Tot. They were stationed here in Norway and had many projects here. Very cool. Beautiful condition. Really happy with that one. Really, really happy with that one. This wonderful soup plate was manufactured for Organisation Tot by the Norwegian porcelain factory Postgren Porcelain during the Second World War. It features the typical crisp, light blue army eagle on the top front face of the rim, as usually seen on the Norwegian Wehrmacht contract porcelain. But in addition to the eagle are the letters OT, which is the abbreviation for Organisation Tot. On the bottom, we have the Norwegian maker's mark for the Postgren porcelain factory. This plate is in beautiful, probably unissued condition and what I would consider as mint, Just look at that shine. That's a beauty. Well, now let's see what's in these envelopes, shall we? I have my suspicions, as always, and I'm pretty sure I know what we're dealing with here. We are looking at field kitchen related stuff, and I'm guessing some kind of picture, but it's not. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. This is something different. This, my ladies and gentlemen, is a Feldpost letter. Perfect for Feldpost Sunday. Nice. And the cool thing about this letter is that it's from a unit that was around here in this area where I live. That's pretty cool. This Feldpost letter is addressed to a woman and teacher living in Mosel, Germany. In the top right corner is a nice, crisp, military Feldpost cancellation stamp dated 23rd of November 1942. And we also have a beautiful unit seal down in the lower left corner. It reads, Duty Station, followed by the Feldpost number 27127. I believe that this Feldpost number belonged to the 2nd Construction Company of the 16th Fortress Construction Battalion at the time of this letter, but the company was later transferred to the newly formed 4th Fortress Construction Battalion, or Zweite Baukompanie Festungsbaubataillon 4, in January 1943. And the company kept its old Feldpost number. The unit was also stationed in Norway at the time of the correspondence. On the reverse, we can see that the letter was apparently sent by the unit duty station office or headquarters, and not from an individual. And there is contents in here. I believe that the German word Einsatzort roughly translates to area of unit occupation, and the letter is dated to the 15th of November 1942. Starting from the top. Duty Station 27127, which is the Feldpost number address. Concerning Lieutenant Bollinger, in response to your letter from the 7th of October 1942. To Mrs. Alten, born Bollinger, whom I believe was a teacher, followed by her address in Mosel, Germany, at Gieberstraße 50. And here is my attempt at translating the letter, and it reads as follows. In response to your request, the office informs you that Lieutenant Bollinger is still with the unit and is doing well. There is no reason for any concern. Signed Captain and Company Commander, Lieutenant Bollinger. So it appears that Lieutenant Bollinger has just responded in the third person to a letter from a family member concerning himself and his well-being, which was possibly addressed to the unit command. Why Lieutenant Bollinger signed the letter as Captain and Company Commander is unknown, but it might be that he was acting as the Company Commander at the time. A very strange and interesting letter from a unit that was stationed locally to me. Cool. Feldpost letter for Feldpost Sunday. Nice. Let's check out the last one. See what we have. Well, I was truly wrong about that one. That was not field kitchen related at all. So, see what this is. Was that it? We have a letter inside a letter. My guess is pictures, photographs, original photographs from the Second World War. And I'm guessing it's Feldpost, no, field kitchen related. And it is, finally. Nice. 2 wonderful field kitchen related photographs, original ones from the Second World War. So I think this first photo is a wonderful scene showing the Spiessenträger in use. The The container would keep the food from the field kitchen warm for several hours, depending on the weather conditions of course, while runners could get the rations up to the front lines, often dodging accurate or sporadic enemy artillery, sniper, or other small arms fire. These men really went above and beyond to get the rations to their fellow soldiers on the front lines. Every field kitchen was issued with these wonderful container backpacks, and the small field kitchen was issued 4 of them. A Norwegian SS foreign volunteer I spoke to many years ago, who found himself on the front lines in Narva in Estonia in 1944, during the worst conditions possible, was truly baffled as to how they managed to get the food out to their positions. One day, the food bearers were unable to make it out to them until the middle of the night. But for a good reason, as they had been under constant artillery barrage for several hours, known as trommelfeuer, or drum fire in English. Basically a barrage so intense that the shelling creates what seems like a continuous roar, with so many explosions going off continuously and at the same time that it's basically impossible to distinguish the sound from one explosion from another. When they finally got the food, it was already cold, but they didn't complain. And when I asked them about the quality of the food they had in their unit, I was told that it was absolutely fantastic, which I later got confirmed by several other Norwegian veterans that served in the same regiment. A fellow soldier wearing a pre-war coat with a dark green collar is helping this food bearer getting the heavy hot food carrier onto his back, which is presumably full of hot food from the field kitchen. He is wearing an early war field blouse with a field grey collar, pre-war M34 side cap with light-coloured soutane, possibly white for infantry, wool trousers, and jack boots. Look at the shape. I believe he is carrying his soldbook in his left breast pocket. Also note the amount of contents in his 2 waist pockets. It also appears that he has picked up a snack while collecting the rations. To me, it looks like a piece of bread or something. The photo was taken somewhere on the Eastern Front, and the ground conditions are probably not favorable, as they have built log roads. Corduroy road or log road is a type of timber trackway made by placing logs perpendicular to the direction of the road or walkway over a low or swampy area. There are 2 other soldiers and some sort of log shelter in the background. There is unfortunately nothing written on the back of these 2 photos. The second photo is definitely from the same series and shows a busy field kitchen. The field kitchen appears to be a regular, horse-drawn version of the kleine Feldküche, or small field kitchen, and the model is in my opinion a Heeresfeldwagen 14, or HF14 for short. It's hard to make out, but I think it's the front limber of the field kitchen we can see through the brush in the background here. The lid of the main cooking kettle is open, and steam from the piping hot food is rising from the 125-liter kettle. It looks like there's army noodles on today's menu, and it looks like they've spilled some down the back of the kitchen. Note that the ground is covered with cut branches and that the field kitchen is standing on pieces of wood, so there is definitely some mud issues going on. Also note the large metal milk can and the wooden barrel. Based on the unregulation clothing worn by this individual, he is either a Soviet POW or one of the 2 field cooks. To me, it looks like he's wearing a padded Soviet winter jacket. It seems that the field cooks could get away with wearing pretty much anything, so I would not be surprised if this was one of the cooks. And I would not be shocked if this soldier wearing what looks like a torque on his head is the other field cook. He is wearing a German field blouse. Note the belt support hooks. This non-commissioned officer is also a solid field cook candidate, especially since the Unteroffizier has his sleeves rolled up and his trousers appear to be soiled or wet from cooking. And he could very well be the Feldkoch Unteroffizier, or first cook, the cook in charge of this field kitchen. The soldier with the Speisenträger on his back is quite possibly the same guy as on the previous photo. Personally, I think the similarities are quite striking. The Obergefreiter in front of him is wearing a coat, possibly also the same guy from the previous photo. The man smoking a cigarette down in the lower left-hand corner of the photo appears to be wearing an army officer's cloak, which is relatively unusual to see, especially out in the middle of the woods on the Eastern Front. It's hard to tell if his side cap has any silver officer or gold general piping, as this unit appears to be a regular infantry unit based on the uniform insignia, uniforms and equipment, as well as the light-colored capsutage and the shoulderboard piping. This could be the field kitchen belonging to the company, battalion, or perhaps even the regimental staff. That might explain the presence of a possible high-ranking individual with a cloak. Or, of course, he could just be visiting the unit. The reason for this train of thought is that the smaller field kitchens were usually issued to smaller-sized units, such as staff units. I'm really happy with these photos, and I think they really capture the small field kitchen and Spiessenträger in use on the Eastern Front. How about that? Oops. Sharp, nice photos, beautiful details. That's awesome. So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode of Feldpost Sunday, and if you did, please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any other World War II related content. If you enjoy my videos and want to support the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon and help the channel grow and keep the content coming. There's a link to my Patreon down in the video description below. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.